Hi everyone, and welcome back to ChompCast. We have an extremely exciting episode for you today, and I know that we say that every single episode, but I mean, all of them are super exciting. But this one is double exciting because we have not one, but two guests, two amazing guests. So I'll start us off. Andrew Wiggins, a Florida Chamber Senior Director of Political Affairs, manages statewide campaign activity and coalitions. A 1998 UF political campaigning graduate, he's guided numerous candidates to office, including major U.S. races. Wiggins' career spans nearly 30 years, including with Rudy Giuliani's mayoral campaign, George W. Bush's presidential campaign, and various U.S. Senate and congressional races. Such a powerhouse in his field.
So exciting.
And to join Andrew Wiggins, we have another powerhouse, Senator Joe Gruters, who was first elected to the Florida Senate in 2018, representing Sarasota County, which is where I'm from. Shout out to the 941, and a part of Charlotte County. He served as the chairman of the Florida Republican Party from 2018 to 2022, and previously served in the House of Representatives in Florida. Earlier on in his career, Joe Gruters worked as a campaign manager for the U.S. Representative Vern Buchanan, who's actually my representative, so very small world, and was the vice chairman of the Republican Party of Florida and chairman of the Republican Party in Sarasota. He holds a BS from Florida State University and an MBA from the University of South Florida. Now he just recently got appointed as the treasurer of the Republican National Committee in 2025. So absolute powerhouse. Talking with him was a very big, enjoyable, and a great experience.
And sure. I think also the duo of them at the same time is what enhances this episode and this conversation even more. Just to hear those perspectives and kind of how they work together and even apart.
Yeah, both of them had different journeys, but both of them, what stood out to me the most was just their passion for public service and giving back to the community, and how eager they were to tell us and tell everyone who's currently in college, the young, the future, to get involved in what they're passionate about and take action where they can. And so it was truly a great conversation to have both of them involved in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go meet them.
Let's go meet them.
Thank you guys so much for being here. So on ChompCast, we like to introduce ourselves and then talk about our relation to UF and just a little bit about your background. So whoever wants to take it away first, go.
All right, you go first. Yeah. My name is Andrew Wiggins. I'm Senior Director for Political Affairs for the Florida Chamber of Commerce. Prior to that, I spent 10 years working at the Florida Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee with doing state Senate elections like Senator Gruters is a part of. Before that, I was in the Florida House, worked for Rudy Giuliani. When I was a grad student at UF, I interned with Rudy Giuliani when he was running for mayor. So I've done that, double gator. Class of 93, class of 98. My daughter is a junior at UF right now, so a lot of deep ties to UF. Worked in politics, and going to UF really helped me get that started.
And I'm a fourth generation Sarasotan, a CPA by trade, graduate from Florida State and USF, and now serve the people as their state senator in District 22, representing Sarasota-Manatee County. Has been involved with the party for a long time, 14 years as my local county chairman in Sarasota. 4 years as the Republican Party of Florida chairman. Now I'm the Republican National Committeeman, which puts me back on the RNC, where I serve as treasurer for the whole country for the Republican Party. I there's a lot of pride from the standpoint that I've was the co-chair for Donald Trump's original campaign in 2016 here in Florida with Susie Wiles, who's now the chief of staff. I was the chairman in 2020. I'm still one of his top loyal lieutenants here. And obviously my mission is to do everything that the president needs me to do here at the local level to try to make sure that he can advance his agenda.
I'm also the Leon County Republican Party chairman.
So we were kind of wondering what motivates y'all to keep on giving back to the community that you see around you.
Listen, it's all about helping others. I love being able to go to bat for my community on a daily basis. People say when they get elected, they're running or they get elected, what do you want to do? You want to go help your community. When you're in elected office, especially as a state senator, every day I'm able to go do battle on behalf of my community, help local constituents with issues, but really to try to make everything better. And listen, at the end of life, what do you have? You want to say, did you make a difference? And did you? And were you willing to take that step and leap and go after it? And every day in this position, and since I've started my journey, it's been about how one person can make a difference, how you can take meaningful action to impact not only your community but the state. And so I just love serving, and so that's what motivates me.
We love our state. Okay, all of us get involved in politics for the reason because we love where we live. Florida is the greatest state in the country. Okay, we lead the way on so many different things through leadership like Senator Gruters and others, and we want to keep that moving forward because right now the Florida story is why people are moving here because limited regulations, our tax climate, our fiscal climate, our natural climate. So people want to move to Florida, and so we're here to make it better. Spending almost 30 years now helping elect candidates around the state of Florida, it's because we want to keep it moving forward. We love it, and we know that we do things right here in Florida. We often say we don't want people to mess up Florida that move here. So keep Florida, Florida. Just because they move here for a reason, we want to realize they've moved here because of our regulations, just because of how our laws are, and to keep that moving forward.
Yeah, I think definitely just passion for the state we live in is something super important that you want to see in our elected officials and those helping our elected officials. And I kind of want to ask you guys, I know you come from a business background, having your CPA, but to both of you and Andrew, what kind of transitioned you guys from where you grew up, your course of study, into public service and getting involved in government?
I would say it's a great path to go find your real path in life and your profession before getting into politics. You never want to have politics be your end all and your source of income, because then it's a lot easier to get boxed into a position or a segment, and you're much better off. And listen, as a CPA, you're dealing with clients all the time. And I always tell people, as the head of the chamber, one of the heads of the chamber here, I'm on the front lines of the business community, because I'm talking to business owners and hearing their feedback and the challenges they face on a daily basis. And so when I went up to Tallahassee the first time, I said, I bring all my knowledge from all these different clients I talk to on a daily basis, and being able to utilize it in a setting like the senator. And it does help on everyday issues across the board.
As a public elected official, he comes from a different place of society before he gets in. As someone who wanted to work in politics, got the bug in high school when I started working on Steve Wise's state house campaign in Jacksonville when I was a senior in high school, realizing that's what I wanted to do, because you can make a difference. We can really make a difference through public policy. We believe, like I said earlier, in our state, and there are reasons that that we're Republicans for what we do, because we believe in a limited form of government, and we know that we can truly make a difference at the state level. A lot of people are like, well, why don't you go to D.C.? Florida is such an important state. It's such a vibrant state, such a rich economic state, that there's so many things good going here. From when Republicans did take over in the early 90s, just a story of Florida has continued to be told, and it's one that people see and they like, and they're moving here. And during the COVID, Florida led the way because of the governor's leadership. People saw what was happening there, and they moved here because of our ability to let people live their lives and not have over-regulated from government, not having to show a vax card whenever you did anything.
And speaking of, the Republican Party in Florida, Florida used to be a battleground state, but it has now trended red for a while now and is a red state. How does that, as a senator, as a public service official, how does that operate day to day when you're in, the Republican winning party at the time? And what does your day to day look like with that?
It's complete domination. We have completely taken over the state. We have super majorities in the House, Senate. We have every cabinet member.
Right.
We have we've picked up, I think, 5 congressional seats in the last 10 years.
Right.
It's things are as good as it gets right now, and it's because we have a group of conservative leaders that are laser focused. I think the governor deserves a lot of credit at post-COVID for some of his policies, keeping Florida open, and that led to Florida being a refugee for people want education freedom, business freedom, across the board, health freedom. And we have 1,000 people a day moving here. These people are moving here, registering as Republicans. And so what we've seen over the last couple of cycles is that gap is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I don't think it's ever going to reverse. I think we have the lockdown, so we're not going to see any type of movement on the other side. We're going to see now it's going to be primary base bites only. But basically what we could do as a result of having control of everything is we could focus on the policies that we all genuinely believe in. And even though, like right now, we're having this fight on immigration, it's minor details, because we're the bill we passed was the most conservative bill that's ever been passed in the country, and we may make it even more conservative. But we're going to land this plane. We're going to work it out together. And sometimes, listen, you're not always going to agree with your family. You're not always going to agree with everybody in your party. But at the end of the day, I think everybody's focused on pushing the most conservative policies that are in the best interest of the people of the state of Florida.
We see a lot what has happened in Florida from, just since Biden was elected the last time, just how Republicans have won every month of voter registration. And it's through leadership when Joe was the Republican Party chairman, having plans in place, building voter registration, encouraging people to get out, to register. And we know that when people are moving to Florida, where are they coming from? They're coming from blue states, and they're coming because where they're living is overregulated. From their state income taxes to the cost of just living there. They come to Florida and they realize, one, we don't have a state income tax. They have the ability to spend more of their money on the things they need and love and spend it on their family. So people are moving here for economic reasons and because of the Florida story and because of great leadership we have in the legislature and in state government.
You've spoken a lot about the strengths of Florida, which, very, very happy to be a part of this state, the Sunshine State. But also, what do you guys see as the biggest challenges and weaknesses moving forward?
Listen, it's always about bread and butter, kitchen table type issues like the rising cost of insurance, rising cost of home prices. Now we're seeing these major businesses, financial centers starting to relocate here to Florida. So the question is how can we continue to help people find the best possible jobs that are available so people could stay here and earn the living wage and be able to be productive members of our society. So it's about getting the things that we can control in government under control and helping minimize the impact on the people of Florida.
I think one thing we're seeing is we need to keep young talent like you in the state. We'll educate kids through high school and into the college. And the biggest problem we have is kids moving away from Florida. When the state's invested so much money and you're talented. You guys are going to the University of Florida. Top 5 public university. And so when you get a great education, we want you to stay in Florida. What we also find is some of the companies that are here now, they have problems finding skilled workers because there is a skills gap. So it's through education, it's through training. It's also through looking for some of the, the new careers of tomorrow. It's not, we all went to college, which is a great place, but there are also some great skilled trades where people can earn high level, good paying jobs to take care of their family and live the American dream.
So building off of keeping young voters in the state, why do you think that being at an event like this, talking to college kids, being active within our university is so important? And why are you guys here today?
Listen, it's all about spreading the message and recruiting as many people as we can over to our side and trying to convince people to get involved and be active, because the greatest way for us to continue to win is recruit as many people in the younger generation over to our side. And not only that, getting them active in campaigns and getting them working inside the system. Most of the people here, I think, are political science type majors. And we have a lot of opportunities for a lot of these students to participate in.
As a double gator, I come back as often as I can. It also gives me a reason to see my daughter, but also encouraging, you guys, get involved in a campaign, okay? To take part in helping make the state better. You know what I mean? You hear so many people that always gripe about not having great people in office. Well, that's incumbent upon you to get involved yourself to take part of this. And we want to show you that it's through public service. It's through doing the great things that we're doing in the state. And encourage people to think about, working for the state or working in ways where you can make changes in society.
Sure. And I'm really interested that you guys both brought up young voters. And I feel like we're in an unprecedented time right now where social media is changing the landscape of elections as we know it. And so my question to you all is, how do you see the future of the Republican Party appealing now to younger voters as we're seeing younger voter trends, more Republican now? How are you guys seeing the future of the party in relation to social media and to finding new avenues to market the party, the candidate that's running at the time? How are you guys kind of going to see that change and that trend?
Well, listen, I think you can just look at the groups that we have on our side, the YAF, the Turning Point, College Republicans, all these groups that are really hyper-focused on the youth vote through social media, through podcasts, through various in-person events. And I think that's been a game changer on our side. And you've seen the registrations and the younger voters end up being closer to 50-50 rather than a huge gap that we used to see. And I think it's directly as a result of those social media influencers that are on there all the time, and people able to get their news sources and information. And at the end of the day, I think when you look at our party, what we offer in terms of economic opportunities and what we're focused on, I think it appeals to a wider range of people.
I think you're also seeing Republicans make a concerted effort to communicate to young voters. You can't convince someone or recruit them to your side if you don't have a conversation or dialogue with them. So through the programs Senator Gruters talked about earlier, we're seeing ways for, just to have a conversation. Let people know, one, we're a big tent party, okay, for a lot of different ideas. People, everyone can feel welcome in the Republican Party. So it's communicating, and it's letting them know that, one, a lot of what we've done, telling the success story of what Florida's been, telling why the state is doing so well, why we're the number one destination for people moving, why we're such an attractive place for people to move.
We've spoken a lot about public service, civic engagement, and just giving back to the community. Personally, I've actually been a part of my Sarasota Chamber of Commerce Youth Leadership Program. So just speaking to that and the impact that a single program or a single person can have, what has made y'all most satisfied with your work? Is there a specific moment or thing that you've done that you think kind of showcases how great your career has been?
Well, it's interesting. I participated in the Sarasota Youth Leadership Program when I was in high school in Sarasota, and I look back and I say what a great experience it was, and a setup for me to understand a community that I want to serve. Yes. And I would say it's a ongoing satisfaction when you literally get to help people that are involved in the process. They're asking for help, and sometimes very small things, helping them with some type of issue that's related to the state. And sometimes there's a lot of satisfaction when you pass some important legislation. And sometimes legislation that's only important to a couple of people is very important. But I would say it's a cumulative series of events that you're always able to look back and say, man, what a great, and that's why I said being a state senator is the greatest job you could ever have. It's because, like I said, because you're on a daily basis, you're able to help people that are really in need. And at the same time, you have the ability to influence substantial policy at the state level. And you're in charge of a lot of stuff in the state of Florida government. So it's an incredible opportunity. So
being with the Sarasota Chamber, you're very lucky because Heather Caston, the president and CEO, she's a fantastic person, is a thought leader for Sarasota, and has really done a lot. To know that both of you went through, that's fantastic, just what they do there. And it's being a part, helping people find their voice. Advocacy is so important. I talk to groups weekly, and we talk about advocacy a lot. And advocacy is not when Senator Gruters and they're up in Tallahassee. It's year round. When you see legislators, they want to know what you feel. They want to know what you care about. They're elected. He's elected to serve you, and he wants to serve you the best he can. So hearing what matters to you, hearing what struggles you have, hearing your stories are extremely important. So it's hearing those stories, of what challenges people have, whether it be education or it could be over-regulated environment through, right now we hear so much about permits, how difficult it is to build or do things in Florida because of our permitting process. So it's finding things like that to help make it easier for people so that they can grow their businesses, they can help live the American dream with their families.
Now, looking forward, what are you guys working on? What goals do you have, and what would you like to see accomplished in your current positions?
Listen, I want to make sure we have the best possible government across the board. I've accomplished a lot of my high-level goals as a state senator, but there's still a couple things left over. But hopefully you'll see some announcements from my office in the coming weeks, and so I could finish. In Florida, we have term limits. You serve 8 years in the House, 8 years in the Senate. And I'm coming up on my last 2 years in the Senate. And so hopefully we can leave with a bang. But I'm on part of the leadership team. But the main thing is making sure we have the best possible government for everybody.
Florida has the 16th largest economy in the world. Okay, our goal is to see us getting to become the 10th. Okay, so it's keeping those policies, help Florida, keep growing so people have opportunities, so that so that you can live your dream here in Florida, and without overregulation, and also just so there's opportunities for all.
And it's so obvious to see both of you and how passionate you are for public service and your current positions and the work that you've done for the American public and for Floridians. to our listeners who are students who are, interested in getting involved in politics, but fear that it is a little bit overwhelming or there's a lot of misconceptions about that job, what are some common misconceptions that you've seen that you can kind of clarify to them and kind of inspire people to not be afraid and be able to take this position?
Well, here's the deal. If a politician doesn't know your name before they're elected, they'll never know your name after. And the only way to really form a relationship, to have any type of meaningful experience, is to try to get involved in a campaign. It doesn't matter if it's a losing campaign. Hopefully it's a winning campaign. The relationships you'll be able to make and will help you for the rest of your life. If people in politics, sometimes it's like a roller coaster. It's lots of ups and downs. But if you stay with it, and if you're focused and you're passionate about making a difference and wanting to get involved, there's so many opportunities. But a lot of times people have to pick up the phone and call whoever they want to help. So when you see a state house race open up, state senate race open up, especially in your area, if you're interested in politics, call up the office line, call up their cell, and just volunteer. And sometimes it's listen, nobody wants to give up their weekend, right? And to go walk door to door to participate in campaign activities. But the winner in politics sometimes is the person who shows up when nobody else shows up. And that's how I started from with no political pedigree back in my hometown. And I started showing up and helping people, and every single step, if you keep on showing up, pretty soon you're the guy that everybody's showing up for, and you win and you're able to make a difference.